The funniest moment of the World March for me was actually many moments all put together, and it was illustrated in a video put together by Cynthia and Isabel that showed the process by which we always were told, vamos, very quickly, we have to hurry, and then wait. And that was something that happened throughout the World March and was always a source of constant amusement to us. The most difficult moment for me was when we had a situation within the base team that I felt wasn't practicing what we preach. And it was a really difficult moment for me because I felt it was very hard to go out and say things about peace and conflict resolution when it wasn't happening from my point of view inside the team. The thing, I think, you know, I was actually almost at one stage prepared to leave on this point, so that shows how hard it was, because it was something I didn't want to. But after talking to team members and contemplating over many days, I ended up thinking maybe I do have to look at the bigger picture of what the World March is going to be achieving and possibly has already achieved. Having said that, I still do have a conflict about it, and I'm still trying to settle it in my own mind and heart. You know, life's made up of many experiences, good, bad, and bad really isn't bad because there's always something hugely beneficial that comes out of it. So, and that's what I know. There's a lot of growing for me in that. There was a lot of learning, and I'm hoping within the other parties that everyone will be doing a lot of reflecting on it. And I think, you know, mistakes are made, and but the thing for me about it was that it's not just a mistake that can just be apologised for and gone away. I think it really needs to be felt deeply as to actually looking at the whole situation, looking at all the different people that were involved, looking at everybody's feelings, putting ourselves in the position of other people, to actually know how another may be seeing the situation. That is really what's necessary in any conflict, is to be able to put yourself in the other person's situation. I'm really still dealing with that particular question. What I feel is that there have been so many experiences, highs and lows, that I don't think it will be until I'm back home, away from everything, in silence, back with some nature which I've missed terribly, to really feel what has changed within me. As far as practicalities and basic everyday things go, I used to have a terrible fear of public speaking, and the idea of dealing with the media and what have you filled me with terror and horror and everything imaginable. And I knew that I was going to be having to face my fears on this one, and that for me has been great, because I'd like to not have that fear, because I would like to be able to say a bit more, and I don't want to be able to hide away. So that's been great. And the other thing that's been really great also is not feeling any intimidation by things that once upon a time probably would have intimidated me. For example, you know, meeting an important person or a celebrity, someone with influence, or being in a place of influence. Once upon a time I would have thought, oh, but now I see, you know, like, everybody's just exactly the same as us, and I'd happily sit down with a cup of tea with any of those people, and would like to sit down and have really good chats. You know, all the way through the trip, I was trying to work out for myself, okay, what's touched me the most, what is something that's been profound for me. And I don't know whether it's because I'm very much a person that lives very much in the moment most of the time, that usually I experience a feeling and an emotion, and then it tends to be gone and I move on to the next one. So that's really hard for me. But I think one of there were three countries that just keep popping into my mind every time I think about this. And the first one was Bangladesh, when I was sitting atop a horse-drawn carriage. It sounds very romantic. With Isabel, and we were waving out to the people on the streets, and I just remember that feeling of connecting with someone, looking at them in the eye, and then us smiling at each other, and this feeling of real connection, that's as easy as it is, you know. That was quite a profound moment for me. I just thought, you know, you can take a relationship further once you've made that initial connection. The second place was in Budapest, in Hungary, when we went on the march, and I remember feeling so exhausted before we were going on it, and sitting down and thinking, and it started to rain, and thinking, how am I going to go out for a march now? Another 5 hours or so. And we went out on the march, and the people that were surrounding me were just so knew why they were there, and really were the people that have been, you know, fighting for peace and you know, social justice for probably many years. Some may have been new, but and then it started to rain, and what I just felt during that march was this huge feeling of solidarity with people I didn't know, commitment that they were doing something that for other people, for a greater good, and it was a beautiful, beautiful time crossing the Danube. They put on a lovely, lovely show for us, and it was very special. But that was what it was. It was the solidarity and the commitment that was really profound. My feeling about the World March, well, when I found out that the World March was starting in New Zealand, that was a huge motivation for me. Because it had huge significance for me, because part of I suppose who I am is owing to my parents, and my father comes from India, and he was born on October the 2nd, the day of the World March starting, which is Gandhi's birthday. My father was, Gandhi to him was, had a huge impact on his life. And because my father was born on his birthday, was born in Gujarat, in the place that Gandhi was born, and the march was starting from Wellington, where he chose to have his home, it felt to me like, I think I'm meant to be here doing this. And, you know, and so that was the significance it had for me, I think. Yeah.